Hey snowboarders, I'm Jeff from Skiessentials.com. We got JG here again, and today we're going to talk about some snowboard boots, how to choose your boots, the differences between your boots. We brought up some examples here that we'll kind of go through towards the end of the video. But JG, to start, I know boots are a really important piece of equipment.
I really think the boot is the most important piece of equipment. You know, it's like you put your boots on in the morning and you're in them all day long.
Yep.
Whether you're riding or driving or hiking or whatever, but it's the most important piece of equipment that you can get. And taking the time to do your research and try on different boots is really important.
Yep.
And you know, want something that's really comfortable. No pressure points and the right length and the right flexing boot for your needs. Yeah.
Yep. So, you might be watching this video thinking to yourself, like, hey, you guys are an e-commerce site. Like, what are you talking about going and trying on boots for? But we talked about it on the ski side a lot, too.
Mm-hmm.
We do sell boots online, but
Mm-hmm.
big recommendation from us would be if you have a local shop and you can go in and try on some boots. Maybe they don't have everything that you're looking for, but you'll at least get some good reference points.
Yeah. You can pick like 3 pairs of boots and try them on. You can try one boot on your left foot, the other boot on your right foot, and you can flex them and feel and walk around the shop or whatever.
Yeah.
Get a really good idea. It's the only product you can do that with, so it's worth doing.
Cool. Now, as some general recommendations, what type of rider might want a soft flexing boot versus a stiffer boot, that kind of stuff?
Well, all boots, when they're new, they all tend to feel a little on the stiff side because everything's new. Nothing's broken in or anything. But in general, entry-level people or beginners to intermediate, a nice, soft, comfortable boot. You're not really putting your board up on edge that much, and just something that's comfortable and warm is probably the best recommendation.
Cool.
And as you get into the sport a little bit more and more days on hill and riding riding a little faster and jumping, you want a little bit more, a little bit more support, a little bit stiffer, like a medium flexing boot that can be maybe a little bit adjustable for different times during the day or different conditions or whatever it may be. And some of these boots you can do that with for sure.
Cool. Now, before we go through these boots, another thing that has come up, and I think it's obvious for anyone looking at boots, can you speak a little bit about the benefits of lacing or the benefits of a BOA? What are, those are, in my assumption, in my limited snowboard knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
kind of the two major things that you're going to see, either a boot with laces or a boot with BOA.
Mm-hmm.
In my assumption, the BOA is, you get a lot of convenience there.
Yep. The as you can see, almost every boot on the shelf these days has some type of BOA system in it, and it's a convenient thing. It's fairly adjustable, easy to adjust. And a lace-up boot is like a traditional boot, right? So you look at like a hockey skate or a basketball sneaker, where you can really take your time and lace your boot up. You shouldn't be in any hurry putting your boots on. You want to put them on the right way once.
Yep.
And a lot of people really like the traditional style and used to, putting on your, flexing your foot and lacing it up and feeling it. So there's nothing wrong with a lace-up boot.
Okay.
So.
Cool. I think that's important for people to know,
Mm-hmm.
because you're going to see a lot of these BOA systems, and
Yeah.
I think without that knowledge, it might be easy for somebody to look at a selection of boots, look at the lace boot, and think like that's inferior in some way. So more of a personal preference thing.
It really is, and if you look at the BOAs, what we have here on the table is like, BOA comes in every price point, basically. So
Yep.
you'll see it on a price point boot, a mid-price, and even a higher end boot, you'll still have a BOA system.
Cool.
And it might be a little bit different mechanism and pattern on the lines and stuff, but it's basically a BOA.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, we're going to dive right in, look at some of these boots. But kind of to summarize, if you can go to a shop and try on some boots, definitely do so. If you can't, it's more a matter of just doing a lot of research, looking at a bunch of different stuff, kind of getting a sense of your own foot shape, your own rider style, stuff like that.
True. Like you mentioned that a lot of brands are either known for having boots that are a little bit wider, a little bit narrower.
Right.
But actually, Jeff, one of the most important things is knowing your foot size.
Right. Yes.
It is crazy how many people and how many even pro snowboarders I've worked with, they're not even really sure what size foot there is, what size foot they have. Going into a shop and actually getting your foot measured in length and width is probably a good idea.
Yep.
So you know. And if you're ordering from us here at Ski Essentials, then you know you're a 9. And, we can set you up with a 9 or whatever it may be.
Yep. Yeah. No, that is. I'm glad you brought that up because it is amazing to me how often somebody doesn't know their exact size, or maybe you've become used to like your street shoe size, which sometimes can be like a half size or a full size bigger than what you might want.
Sure.
I don't know if it crosses over on the snowboard side, but for a lot of things, I tell people to like go off a running shoe or an athletic shoe, something that's fit, snug. So you use that as your reference.
Yeah.
So know your shoe size. That's another big one.
Yeah.
I think we can just look at some of these boots now. This first one that we started with. That's a lace-up boot. We got the Rossi Cutback lace hybrid boot here. So $199. Pretty good boot.
Good looking boot, lace up. And you're trying to look at the flex of a boot. It's really hard to just like flex a boot like this, no matter what boot it is. Like, so you don't think you can really feel that. As far as like this is a soft flexing boot. It's like it feels stiff when you do that. So that's not really a good test to any boot. But this looks like a good boot, good name. It has a little bit of a boa, so you basically lace up the outer part of it, and you can use the boa to get a little bit more heel hold over the cross step of your foot here. So good idea, good design.
Yeah, and the traditional lace system.
Yeah,
so if
can't
you're
go wrong.
Kind of one of those guys that prefers the traditional lacing system, got it right there.
$199. Can't go wrong. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So these next two boots, obviously we're moving to a BOA system here. Both of these boots are $229. We've got the K2 Raider and the Rossignol Crank BOA. So great boots for somebody probably more of an entry-level rider or somebody who doesn't need a super aggressive boot, and somebody who prefers a BOA system.
Well, what's nice about these boots, when you pick them up, they're really lightweight.
Nice and light. I noticed it particularly.
And that's nice too. Like if hiking at all, and every step, if your boots are heavy and clunky, every step you take, then you're feeling that extra weight.
Right.
But this boot feels really nice and lightweight, and just a single BOA, which is great, and it has some of these. I'm going to show some other liners here, but it has an internal lace up on the liner itself. So you do that first, and then you do the BOA on the outside.
This is the liner right
there. Yeah. So nice setup there. You can have some adjustability on the inside and the outside.
And this is a fully heat moldable liner too. This is an Intuition branded liner. As we were talking kind of before we started filming, most of these boots are going to have a heat moldable liner. And then the Rossignol option, pretty similar stuff. So that's kind of nice, across these brands, you're going to have similar option from each brand. And like you were saying, some brands will fit a little different. Sometimes people just have a brand preference.
Sure.
We were talking to Shelby before we started filming, and she was just saying like, nope, I like this brand boots, and that's what I get. So if you have a brand preference, or even if you just like a certain brand, you're going to be able to find a boot for you within that brand, most likely. And then moving up, that K2 boot, I believe that is the best-selling snowboard boot on the market.
Yeah, it's one of them for sure.
The K2 Maysis.
Yep. This is a great all mountain, all type of rider, terrain, do it all boot.
Yep.
At the right price too.
So moving up almost $100 from these $229 to $309 in that boot. before we started filming, we were kind of just passing some of these boots around. To me, it felt like a little bit of a jump up in just overall quality of materials as you go up in that price. And then we saw some cool features in that boot as well.
Yeah, the Maysis has the Conda system on the inside, which is a internal lace-up on the inside for pulling your heel back. And so the one BOA dial on the outside controls that on the inside.
Yeah.
And so you can actually adjust the inside of your boot from the outside without undoing the rest of your boot. So that's a cool feature on this boot.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
And just like a ski boot, being locked into that heel pocket is really important. You want to get yourself as far back and down into the boot as possible. So nice feature from K2 there, having that system. And then you also see the dual BOA. In this one I believe it's internal and exterior, correct? In some boots we'll see a lower foot and a upper foot, like that next Salomon.
Yep.
So as you move up in price, you are going to see a little bit of a jump in features and quality. You're also going to see a little bit of a jump in flex. So for example, K2 rates this Raider as a 5 out of 10 flex and the Maysis as a 7 out of 10 flex. Like JG was saying, sitting here and flexing them, it doesn't really feel any different. But when you get out there and ride, especially after 10, 20 days, something like that, you're gonna
usually new boots take a little bit of a break-in period depending on how much you're riding, but 10 days or so is a good amount of time. By 20 days, you're all set with your boots and as far as the break-in period.
Cool.
So
at Salomon on the end, we jumped up to $349.95 there. Very similar range to the K2 Maysis. Kind of another example of you're gonna see similar features from different brands, just kind of their own unique attributes. Now, before we started filming, you were kind of giving me some rundown recommendations of what to do with your new boots, and I thought it was really interesting. So we've kind of gone through some steps in choosing your new boots and some things to look out for. But can you give us some of those recommendations? Because I thought it was fascinating.
So whenever I get a new pair of boots, I pull the liners out at home, and I take the liner and the shell and I leave them near my door. And at first I kind of try and just break down some of the materials. I leave them near the door and step on them and bend them and flex them and kind of we try and reduce the time that it's on snow to get them broken in. You can roll down the tongues and not go overboard. And it's also just put them on and you dial them in and walk around a little bit and maybe just go for a little walk because this way when you're on snow they'll just be that much more comfortable and they won't feel as stiff.
Sure.
So little things you can do.
Yeah. No, I love the idea of leaving them by your door and every time you go in and out of your house, you just literally step on them.
I'm doing that now actually.
Are you?
Yeah.
Just breaking in a new pair of boots?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So that's it. JG, anything else you want to add here?
No, I think we're good.
Cool. Yeah. So hopefully that gives you some, at least some guidelines to go off of when you're looking at boots. If you go into a shop and you've got some boots in your hand, you're going to know, the differences and where the price breakdowns are coming from. As always, if you have any questions about this stuff, certainly let us know. I'll probably relay the question to JG or one of our in-house resident snowboard experts. Small piece of information for you. I think I'm going to get a pair of these for myself.
Why not?
$199. I feel like I can't go wrong. I gotta get myself some snowboard equipment so I can go and ride with this guy. Let us know if you have any questions, and we'll see you guys out there on the slopes.
See you next time.